Well, after last week's hectic trip down to London, a very busy London, if I might add, I thought we'd do something different this week. I thought we'd head into the deep countryside south of Edinburgh. So deep into the countryside, it's almost wilderness. We're going to hop in the car, we're going to drive about 15 to 25 minutes south of Edinburgh through the East Lothian countryside. We'll stop off at the beautiful village of Gifford, then we'll head out into the deepest part of the countryside with these heather-strewn hills. Ultimately, we're looking for White Adder Lake, and today I'm hoping to find a hill fort, which has always eluded me. As we head south into the deep countryside south of Edinburgh, we have to pass through the beautiful little village of Gifford, and we really do need to stop here in Gifford and have a wander around. It's absolutely gorgeous. The gorgeous village hall was erected, according to the sign, in 1887. And there's a gorgeous view from the steps of the village hall down onto the village green itself. Apart from the drone of a few cars passing by, this place is very quiet indeed. And this might be some sort of war memorial. There are two pubs in Gifford. There's the first one, the Tweedale Arms, overlooking the green. But the second pub is the more intriguing of the two. It's called the Goblin Whore Hotel. Not far from here in Gifford, there's an intriguing castle called Yester Castle. I've actually been there before in an earlier vlog. And at Yester Castle, there's a tunnel into the side of the hillside that reveals the Goblin Hall, or the Goblin Hall, to say it in its full name. And it's really, really spooky. Do check out that vlog. In fact, I'll put a link to it up in the corner. But this hotel here is named after that spooky hall at Yester Castle, the Goblin Hall. More fabulous examples of that pastel shading that we see so much of in Scotland, and particularly here in East Lothian. But do you know what? With a day as hot and as beautiful and blue as it is today, I could be forgiven for thinking that I was in a Mediterranean village. And here's the village church. And there's also another cross over here as well. Oh, look. What you'll always see in the country, huge tractors passing by. Road signs like this are really just checklists of places you have to go to. I mean, Garvold, Whittingham, Priestlaw, all on the bucket list for future vlogs. Love the Lich Gate. Oh, look. Church of Scotland, Yester, historic Scottish kirk. So that has the same name as the castle I mentioned earlier. Yester, Bolton and Saltoun Church. Well, that was Gifford, and now the open countryside beckons. Let's go and get ourselves lost in that wilderness. Look at those sheep on the side of the road. You know you're in the countryside when the sheep are right on the edge of the road. Okay, I think we'll park up here and just admire the scenery from way up here in the hills. It's so quiet up here in the hills. I feel that I have to whisper. Now, right over there, that's Edinburgh. You can just make out the Firth of Forth, but it's very hazy and we're very high up. Round further, we've got North Berwick. In fact, there's Bass Rock on the horizon, just there. Do you know, I could stay here all day. It's so quiet and so peaceful. But I promised that we would go to Whiteadder Lake, so we need to drive probably another 10 miles down this road into the countryside.
Another way you can tell you're deep in the countryside, a cattle grid.
Whiteadder Lake, the first of our goals this afternoon. Let's go down to the shoreline and take a look. Oh my goodness, this is one of the hidden gems of East Lothian. If you listen very carefully, you can hear the sheep baaing away in the distance, and the sound carries over the water. This is an idyllic spot. Last week I really enjoyed that trip to London, the thronging crowds and that curry, that fantastic curry. But do you know what, today? I could quite happily sit down here on the banks of the lake with a flask of coffee and a good book and just let the afternoon drift by. But we're going to go and see if we can find that hill fort. Here's another spectacular view of Whiteadder Lake. Now, I've relocated the car just to the start of the lake. I think the hill fort is up on the hill behind me. But do you know what? Yet again, I've forgotten. We're in the middle of the countryside. Of course, there's no mobile signal here, is there? I should have taken photos of Google Maps before I set off. So, of course, Google Maps isn't working, so I'm not exactly sure where the hill fort is. I've fallen into exactly the same trap as I fell into last time. Some people never learn, do they?
Hello, fluffy caterpillar. You're gorgeous, aren't you?
Well, do you know, even if this isn't the right way to the hill fort, it's an absolutely gorgeous walk by the side of the lake here. I'm hoping that the fort is just around this corner. Guess I could ask the sheep. But given I forgot my maps, even if the sheep do know, I don't think they should tell me. Once again, it's really quiet. Apart from the sound of my laboured breathing, of course. Ah, look! Just ahead. Thank you, sheep. You were absolutely right. Just follow the road on round. Well, it looks like there's a sheep in residence here at the castle. Effectively, what we've got is a couple of walls and a circle. But at least I found it this time. I was so pleased. Here we go. The goal of my quest. I think the sheep are a bit unhappy that I've displaced them from their seat. And it has to be said yet again, feel the power of history. Oh, isn't this just absolutely superb? I'm so glad that I made it to the top here. The views are incredible. It's a beautiful day. Whiteadder Lake and its environs are just stunning, absolutely stunning. The wild countryside just south of Edinburgh. Well, we did it. Whiteadder Lake and the fort, finally found it, high up there on the hillside, surrounded by all those very, very helpful sheep. What did you think? Such a contrast to last week's sights and sounds and throngs and crowds in London. An amazing contrast. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Rog Vlog. If you enjoyed the video, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's absolutely free. You don't need to do anything other than hit the subscribe button. Until the next video, remember, there's always something to see. So get out there and find it.